From Jake Patterson's abduction
She said, "You killed my parents. I want to go home. Help me."
to Bradley Yohn's violent home invasion.
Let's go. He's done.
And finally, Ariel Castro's decade-long abduction of 3 women.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years and I'm here, I'm free now.
Stay tuned as we uncover kidnappers' shocking reaction to death sentence in court. Starting with Jake. This is 21-year-old Jake Patterson that's in court for abduction and taking in life. It began in October 2018 as Patterson forcibly entered Jamie Lynn Claus's family and claimed the lives of Jamie's parents before abducting the terrified teenager. As he took Jamie, he held her captive for 88 days until she escaped. In a dramatic turn of events, Jamie escaped and reached out to the nearest strangers and begged to call the police.
County 911.
Hi. I have a young lady at my house right now, and she says her name is Jamie Claus.
Okay, what's your address?
1-4.
Jamie, do you know when he's going to come back? Who's going to come back?
His name is Jake Patterson.
And she said, "I am Jamie Claus."
Yes. She said, "You killed my parents. I want to go home. Help me."
Ma'am, my deputy, he just wants you to lock the doors.
Her escape led to Patterson's arrest. Within hours, law enforcement had Patterson in custody, with help from Jamie in identifying him. Now to court as the judge explains his situation.
Understand that if the court felt justice required, I could impose 2 life sentences consecutively with a 40-year sentence consecutive.
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still choose to plead guilty?
Yes.
As the judge explained his possible sentence, he pleaded guilty.
How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
It seemed that Patterson was still obsessed with Jamie.
As he was led away, Patterson turned and said, "Bye, Jamie."
Jamie wasn't in court, but her voice was heard through in statement.
I loved my mom and dad very much. He took them away from me forever. I felt safe in my home, and I loved my room and all of my belongings. He took all of that too. I don't want to even see my home or my stuff because of the memory of that night. My parents and my home were the most important things in my life. He took them away from me in a way that will always leave me with a horrifying memory. It's too hard for me to go out in public. I get scared and I get anxious. These are just ordinary things that anyone like me should be able to do, but I can't because he took them away from me. But there are some things that Jake Patterson can never take from me. He can't take my freedom. He thought that he could own me, but he was wrong. I was smarter. I watched his routine and I took back my freedom. I feel like what he did is what a coward would do. He can never take away my spirit. He can't stop me from being happy and moving forward with my life. I will go on to do great things in my life, and he will not. Jake Patterson will never have any power over me. I feel like I have some power over him because I get to tell the judge what I think should happen to him. He stole my parents from me. He stole almost everything I loved from me. For 88 days, he tried to steal me, and he didn't care who he hurt or who he killed to do that. He should stay locked up forever.
Now to Jamie's parents, family members.
Knowing what my sister went through the last minutes of her life, trying to protect Jamie, this doesn't leave my mind.
They asked for max sentence for Jake.
And we'll be stronger. We're going to move on. Judge, I know you're going to do the right thing.
Now Jake addresses the court.
I would do, absolutely anything to take back what I did, I would die.
Now to judge reading Jake's statement when he was interrogated by the police.
Before I did this, I planned on taking multiple girls, multiple families. I wanted to treat them differently, play mind games with them. I also just wanted to scare people. I hated everyone, but no one in particular.
Before the judge sentenced Jake, he had some words to say directly to Jake.
I've been a lawyer for almost 40 years and a judge for the last 16 years, almost entirely in this county. And these crimes rank as the most heinous and dangerous that I have seen either here or anywhere else in the state of Wisconsin. Not only were you a danger to the Claus family, you are an extreme danger to the public in general. There is no doubt in my mind that you are one of the most dangerous men to ever walk on this planet.
Now to the judge sentencing Jake Patterson.
Regarding the first-degree intentional homicide of James Claus, I sentence you to life imprisonment without the eligibility for release on extended supervision.
Jake Patterson got sentenced to life in prison without parole. You might expect Jake's behavior to improve over time, but think again, because his conduct in prison wasn't good either.
In the dark clothing at the top left of the screen can be seen talking to another inmate. At one point, the other inmate backs up, posturing for a fight. The other inmate jumps towards Patterson, who backs up, and then throws a punch. The two men are then locked up, trading blows as the other prisoners turn and watch on, until a small door pops open from the prison guard bubble, and a guard extends an orange-colored beanbag shotgun and fires a round, hitting the railing.
From the harrowing case of Jake Patterson, we turn to another unsettling story of home invasion and abduction. This is Bradley Yohn standing trial for a harrowing spree of crimes.
Piece of shit. Let's go. He's done.
He is charged for home invasion and aggravated abduction. The incident began on November 9th, 2021, when Tina Lohman-Schmidt, having car trouble, sought help from Bradley Yohn and another person. Instead of helping, Yohn and his accomplice chose to attack.
Tina was driving home when it was starting to get dark. She started to have car trouble. She must have been so scared. When you have trouble, people stop, they pull over, and they help you. But instead of a random act of kindness, the defendant and his accomplice showed up. They showed up to commit an act of violence, an act of terror. She was kidnapped by the defendant, she was robbed by the defendant, and she was brutally and violently sexually.
Bradley Yohn chose to represent himself in court, a decision that resulted in numerous interruptions during the proceedings.
Your Honor, I object. Grounds? The death has no relevance in this case. You will see that today, here, and throughout this trial, there are major tales told. Tales that are tall.
As witnesses took the stand, it became evident that Bradley lacked the experience needed to effectively represent himself in court.
You stated you were subpoenaed for phone records, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. We just dealt with this.
I'm just letting the witness know where we're at, Your Honor.
He was here, he knows, so next question, sir.
As the next witness was called in, the victim's attorney lost control, causing a significant disruption in the courtroom.
Objection, Your Honor!
I will sustain the objection, Mr.
There was
Yohn.
no 911.
Objection, Your Honor!
I'll ask the bailiff to have the jury return to the jury room and we'll address it.
Now we move to the defendant's final statement.
I'm not a heinous, perverted creep. I do not go around robbing people.
Bradley now attempts to argue that he has respect for elderly people and was raised to be better than the actions he's accused of.
My two greatest friends are elderly people. One just happens to be 76 years old. She was my next door neighbor. Never. My best friend in the world, he's 62 years old. Just turned 62. My mama taught me better than this. She didn't teach me to go out here and do these things, nor did I do them. I wouldn't care if I was a prosecutor or not. I wouldn't sit here and call the defendant a man. I'd call him a piece of Excuse my terminology, Your Honor. Sometimes evidence isn't evidence.
After Bradley gave his closing statement, the moment arrived for the judge to deliver the verdict.
Find the defendant, Bradley Yohn, guilty of home invasion with a dangerous weapon.
Before leaving the courtroom, Bradley had one final thing to say.
Your Honor, I am my own attorney. I have some issues to take up with the
If
court.
you file a written motion, notify the state of those issues, and then we can schedule those for a hearing.
It seems like things don't get filed, Your Honor. The clerk just is not filing. That's one of my reasons. Man, what off you do?
Mr. Yohn?
Piece of shit. Let's go. He's done.
Bradley was sentenced to 130 years in prison for his involvement in a series of grave offenses, including home invasion and aggravated abduction. This case is deeply disturbing, but the next case we'll explore is even more outrageous. This is Ariel Castro, a former school bus driver from Cleveland, Ohio. He is in court for abduction and extended captivity of 3 women, Michelle Knight, Amanda Berry, and Gina DeJesus, who were taken separately between 2002 and 2004. These individuals endured a decade of harsh confinement within Castro's residence. The situation came to a dramatic end on May 6, 2013, when Amanda Berry was able to partially open a door and call for help.
I see this girl going nuts, trying to get out of her house. I go on the porch, and she says, "Help me get out. I've been in here a long time." So we kick the bottom, and she comes out with the little girl, and she says, "Call 911. My name is Amanda Berry."
A neighbor responded to her pleas, assisted in breaking her free, and contacted the authorities.
911, hello, please. Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance.
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped, and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here, I'm free now.
Okay, and what's your address?
2207.
Okay, stay there with those neighbors, talk to the police when they get there.
Okay.
This act led to the discovery and liberation of Michelle Knight and Gina DeJesus. Now to the trial. Ariel was ashamed of what he's been doing and couldn't look the judge in the eyes.
Would you please look at me, sir? Mr. Castro, could you please, I need to make sure that you understand what I'm saying, okay?
Now to the victim statement.
Ariel Castro, I remember all the times that you came home talking about what everybody else did wrong and act like you wasn't doing the same thing. You said, at least I didn't kill you. You took 11 years of my life away, and I have got it back. I spent 11 years in hell. Now your hell is just beginning. I will overcome all this that happened, but you will face hell for eternity.
Ariel knew that he needed to cooperate and plead guilty to all charges.
I'm fully aware of the terms, and do you consent to that plea agreement?
I am fully aware and I do consent to it.
Now Ariel's final statement.
The victims are happy. You guys know all the harmony that went on in that home. I'm sick. My problem is so bad on my mind.
Now to sentencing.
No place in this country, indeed there's no place in this world for those who are slave others, those who sexually others, and those who brutalize others. You will be confined for the remainder of your days.
In a court agreement to evade the death penalty, he admitted guilt to 937 counts, leading to a sentence of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, augmented by an additional 1,000 years. From Ariel Castro's grim story, we now turn to Trevor Summers' alarming case. This is Trevor Summers.
I have been holding her against her will. I did tie her up.
Standing trial for attempting to take a life and abduction. Elisa, seeking freedom and a fresh start, decided to end their marriage. But Trevor, unable to accept this new reality, spiraled down a path of obsession. It began in March 2017 as Trevor broke into the house that his ex-wife Elisa Matthews lived and held her hostage for hours, until she was seen by somebody that called the police.
Some chick just ran out of the dude's car. He just grabbed her and put her back in the car. What's the address? It's Walgreens Fish Hawk. I don't know the address.
Now to the trial. Trevor wasn't happy with his attorney, which led to him asking the judge mid-trial if he could represent himself as the attorney couldn't say the thing that he wanted himself.
And you believe that to be a wise decision?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Are you unhappy with the services of Mr. Marchese?
I'm not unhappy with the services of Mr. Marchese. I do not believe that he fully understands the circumstances surrounding the events, and it would be better if I did the cross-examinations from here on out.
His ex-wife that he abducted was called in. Trevor had questions for her regarding this video.
I have been holding her against her will since 20 after 11. Yeah. They did tie her up to keep her from contacting authorities and give me enough time to get out of town, some time to say bye to the kids and leave, as well as leaving her everything that I have, house, car, some funds to take care of the children.
Now to questions.
Do you recall where you were sitting at the time I made the video?
I was hog-tied on my bed.
Is it true that we had...
After the several hours of being hog-tied, you untied me and had with me a second time.
I threatened you to have sex?
You broke into my home in the middle of the night when I was sleeping, attacked me and tied me up. I take that as, yes, you threatened me to have with you. Yes, prior to having you did push me, you did hold me down, you did tie me up, you did attack me, and you did break into my home when I was sleeping. You me.
Now, the defendant argues, claiming that she wasn't held captive and he didn't force her into anything.
Things are where they're supposed to be. You can see that we packed, we left, and we had a plan to go to my house. Her accusation is that she was tied to go to my house.
The person who called 911 was also called in to testify at the trial.
What did he do when he was running towards the female?
He caught up to her and grabbed her, kind of wrestled her back to the ground.
But the most compelling evidence at the trial was unequivocally the video evidence of him recording himself confessing. Trevor Summers was sentenced to life in prison without parole. These were all the cases. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe and like button.